Wait, how does this? No, you're good.
Is the camera rolling? Alright, good evening, class. Tonight it's been an interesting topic. We're talking about the Civil War and after the Civil War. You'll be able to, I'm going to play a song for you and listen to the words closely and try and pick out anything that you can remember from our previous talk of segregation and the influence of blacks versus whites and how that relationship existed. There should be something common that you've heard before. If you're listening closely, you'll hear a phrase that you have heard before. Catch a phrase that they've heard before about the Civil War? Anyone? And briefly play it again. You should go pick up on it. Yes or no? Anyone didn't hear it? Jim Crow? Anyone? Now to hear it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. We all are the Jim Crow laws, correct? Okay. Now, does anyone know what the Jim Crow laws were for? Get together a partner next to you and briefly discuss as to what you believe the Jim Crow laws were for and when they were put in place. You have 30 seconds. Okay, one thing from this group.
It limited the rights of blacks.
Pretty good. And from this group?
It's after the Civil War.
This group? Anything?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, the title of the song is Jump Jim Crow. The Jim Crow laws were put in place after the Civil War. And what happened was, in 1877, it was called the Compromise of 1877, the North took their soldiers out of the South. At this point, the white Democrats were able to take control of the South again and put in laws back in place that would put the whites back into power and the whites segregated again. A comedian by the name of Thomas Dartmouth Daddy Rice would go around and do blackface, where he would impersonate himself and sing this song, Jump Jim Crow. And this song has many variations, different verses that can apply to different things that he did all over the country. And at one point, when someone went across the country, they'd hear this song, and it was believed by some that this was the national anthem of America, because it was that popular during the time. Okay, the Jim Crow laws. His name Jim Crow. Can you have any guesses as to why blacks were called Jim Crow?
Wasn't it like a cartoon?
That was one part of it, yeah. So there's a cartoon that was named Jim Crow. He was a former slave that was believed to live in different major cities in America, as well as the Crow, or a Crow was another name for a black man. So it became known as the Jim Crow laws. All right. Now, so the whites have left the South back under control of the white Democrats, who are in power and place different laws keeping blacks segregated. Now several blacks tried to sue for their rights, because there was a period after the Civil War, before the Jim Crow laws were in place, where the blacks did have their own rights. Now through their attempted use of the Civil Rights Act of 1875 and the 14th Amendment, they appealed to the Supreme Court, saying that their rights were being infringed upon. The Supreme Court turned against them, turned them down, saying that the 14th Amendment prohibits states from discrimination, but not individuals and businesses. So the Jim Crow laws were in place at local levels, but spread throughout the South. And it wasn't just a local area, it was the whole area, it was the whole region itself. Okay, the Jim Crow laws covered a variety of things. Can you give me, so it's about blacks and whites. What would be something that a Jim Crow law would try to infringe upon the blacks' rights? Anything? Voting? Think about anything where you're together, it's all public. Where are you seen in public often at this time period? Transportation. Restrooms. These are restaurants. These are all different places where there would be specific laws in place, making sure that the blacks were on one part, the whites were on the other. A couple unique examples, because these Jim Crow laws covered a wide variety of things, was over amateur baseball. It shall be unlawful for any amateur white baseball team to play on a vacant lot or baseball diamond within 2 blocks of a playground devoted to the Negro race, and it should be unlawful for any amateur colored baseball team to play baseball in any vacant lot or baseball diamond within 2 blocks of any playground devoted to the white race. Okay, these laws were done to the very daily lives of these people, of the blacks and whites, to try and influence them to remain as segregated as possible so they could have their power over the black race. Another one was, which I thought was interesting, is nurses. No person or corporation shall require any white female nurse to nurse in wards or rooms in hospitals, either public or private, in which Negro men are placed. Okay? The hatred that these people have for one another, especially whites against the blacks, was very ingrained. Slavery had been going on for a long time. This was not something that was going to quickly go away. As we go on later, the civil rights movement didn't come around until the 20th century, when there was still issue going on with the 2 different races. So we can get back into your groups again. Now just further discuss what these laws were in place for. Why were they there, and who did they try to limit, and at what different areas? And what the laws were targeted when they were in place. Maybe a couple minutes.
To keep white servers.
Separated, so like probably thought they had more rights now, but then they take no rights from them.
What the laws targeted when they were in place. Okay, 10 seconds, class. Three, two, one. Okay. I'm going to hand out you our own personal whiteboard. On the whiteboard, I want you to reflect on a couple different things so you can show to me that you learned something today during class. Okay. Write either why the Jim Crow laws were upheld, the origin of the Jim Crow laws as in the name, or who put it in place, or an example of one of the Jim Crow laws. This is an exit slip to get out of class today. Need markers. Any questions? 5 seconds, folks. You're done. Please put your arms down, cap them tightly so there's not a mess. Hand it to me, and you guys have a very wonderful day. 3, 2,